Hello my darlings and welcome to a new mood reading vlog. So as usual, I'm going to start with a tarot pull. So today I am using one of my own decks, which I call the Deathly Flowers Tarot, and it's based on Persephone. So I've already got one sticking out. So I guess we're going to go with this one because this is the card that wanted to be seen, and it is the Page of Fire, or otherwise known as the Page of Wands. And the prompt for this one is pick a YA book, which I don't read very much of anymore. The only YA I read is fantasy or horror. So I will see. I have no idea at all. Nothing comes to mind of what's on my TBR that could possibly be YA. So I will put some pictures up here of the options that I have for this prompt. And then, yeah, next time I see you, that's blue. Honey. She's sitting on the tripod. Babes, how is that comfortable? You're so beautiful. I love you so much. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Beautiful Sylvie sky.
Just look at me.
I know. We love
she's
you.
Staring at me. Like, hi.
Yeah, I think is that a Karawang? I think it's a Karawang bird. Okay, I've got some updates for you. So I am going to be reading one of my physical TBR books every month. This is also why it's just made very apparent to me I don't like having physical TBRs just of random books, because I'm never going to prioritize them over a library loan that has to go back in 3 weeks. So, but I thought just do one a month and then you'll be done in a couple of months. So this month I'm picking up Camp magazine. I think it's because I think it suits the Queer Pride Month. So yeah, this is just a little colourful zine with poetry and who knows what else. So I'm going to pick this one from my physical TBR out of the books that I decided to keep. Now for the tarot prompt, let me get my glasses on. Poor bubs. I had a few YA. Like I said, I've very much steered away from YA. Tends to be only YA horror or fantasy, and even then it has to read adult to me, otherwise I'm just not into it. Out of the ones that I flashed up on the screen, the one that I got my hands on immediately was Midnight Girls by Alicia Jasinska, and I've got it, This Fatal Kiss. So I thought, okay, I'll give this a go. I think Zach told me about it, and this is about two girls who are in the business of procuring hearts for two witches, but then one day they have to team up in order to harvest a prince's heart, and obviously I think that they fall in love. It's a bit of a sapphic villainous book. So I love the premise, but it was just feeling like a YA book. Yeah, I just wasn't getting into it. I loved This Fatal Kiss, which even though they're young adults, still felt adult. But yeah, this one just felt a bit too young for me. I have The Ghosts of Rose Hill coming into the library. They've only got a physical book of that, and I've just gotten the For Sale Magic one. So I'll try both of those out, and if they're both duds, then I'll just let go of the YA option for this mood reading vlog. I did then pick up White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky, translated by Ronald Meyer. What if you fell in love with a woman who was just being nice to you and then cried about it for the rest of your life? We've got a narrator who is unnamed, and they go by the title The Dreamer, which is just the first red flag of many. They are a 26-year-old lonely boy wandering the streets of St. Petersburg like a sad Victorian ghost. He doesn't have friends, hobbies, and he has never in his life spoken to a female. He is the original nice guy. And one night we have 17-year-old Nastyenka, and she's gotten herself in a bit of a pickle, and our dream boy decides this is his moment to shine, and he swoops in with the confidence of a man who's had one conversation in the past 6 months. They talk, they trauma dump, they bond somehow, and naturally he falls deeply, wildly, delusionally in love with her. Unfortunately for him, Nastyenka is hung up on a dude who ghosted her a while back and who promised her that one day he'd return, and he does. And the dreamer, what happens? Well, he gets friend zoned hard. hard, and he is not happy about it. He's not happy about it. This is not a love story. I am perplexed as to why so many people love it, and I see in the comments they're talking about the yearning and the romantic love and all that stuff. But guys, this is a book about a nice guy talking incessantly about his unrequited love towards a woman who was kind to him, but not romantically interested, despite his best efforts to convince her that she was in love with him. I couldn't stand him. And I, the age gap also gave me a massive ick, and he came on way strong, and he was just so whiny. And despite it being a very small book at just over the 50% mark, I was done, son. I'd say read it if you want to read about the original incel, because that's what this was giving. So there's sometimes you just really don't get the same reading experience that everybody else has reading the exact same text. I kept trying to gaslight myself into thinking, this is romantic. It was, no. It was red flag after red flag. I wasn't vibing.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
So that was DNF. I have DNF'd white nights. I am going to get my treatment done today, and the IV takes like an hour and a half or whatever, and as long as it all goes good, I'll be able to leave after that. So I need something to read while I'm sitting there. So I'm probably going to bring, am I going to bring this? I'll bring this because it's slim, Celebim, and I'll probably bring my e-reader as well, because this is not going to be an hour and a half's worth of reading. I think I'll pick up The Weirdness, which is one I've wanted to read for a while, but I thought it could be a good one to save for a themed reading vlog. But life is short, man. I don't know how many days of reading I have left in my life and how many books I'll be able to get to before one book will be the last book I ever read. So I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm going to read it because it looks cool and it looks funny. So I will be taking that one with me. I am wearing a perfume today, and it's Orphean by Diptyque. This is a love letter to the Parisian nightlife of the early 60s, the golden age when artists, writers and dreamers gathered at the Orphean Bar. The opening is juniper berries. It feels sophisticated yet a little playful. Then you have very powdery jasmine and soft florals that lend a vintage boudoir-like warmth, reminiscent of face powder to me. And then you have the creamy tonka and cedar base. So it's cozy, slightly sweetened and smoky in a sophisticated way. To me, Orphean feels quite genderless and like a memory captured in amber. It's a mix of warmth, artistry, and nighttime elegance. The initial picture that came to my mind upon first whiff, was having a picnic on an overcast day under a juniper tree, listening to jazz with spilled baby powder everywhere. That was a very strong note for me. It was giving powdery, woody vintage. So it's not my kind of accord. But the book that I paired it with is probably no surprise. It's The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. They're both giving beauty, nostalgia, and the shimmering allure of nights that feel like they'll last forever. It's jazz, cocktails, and longing, the ache of beautiful things slipping away. I think last time I told you I was meant to be having an interview with my daughter's school. They cancelled that. That's coming up later in the week. So hopefully I'll be well enough to go to it. I don't know, I'm being positive. I'm feeling like, you know what, it's going to be good. This time you're going to have no issues with the medicine. It's going to make you feel good straight away. But I'm just going in with like blind, delusional optimism. You know, I'm like, this is going to be a great time. It's going to be a great experience. I'm going to feel amazing afterwards. Life is just going to turn a corner for me. I did do a media tarot tag thing on my tarot channel, and I pulled a card for the next 6 months, and it said that you're going through a time of winter and it's going to end. Spring is going to come. The sun is going to shine warm upon you again, and this will all be a distant memory. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm like, okay, this is the last of it, and I'm going to emerge from this like a little butterfly from a cocoon, and I might dare say it, be just a really healthy, well person again. that I haven't been for 10 years. Ever since I had my second child, just my body collapsed. So I don't know, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Anything can happen, you know? So that's what I'm holding on to. That's what I'm, you know, it's the power of the mind. Like I said, I'm gaslighting myself into believing that I don't always have to be a chronic illness girly, that I can have some energy and vigor and vim and wellness and long periods of vitality in between the blips. So that's what I'm going for, guys. My beautiful mama is picking me up afterwards, and my kids are coming back today, and there's some beautiful sunshine, but the weather has now finally gotten crisp and cold. So autumn, right at the end, is finally announced itself. We were just, guys, every single Melburnian was in disbelief at the warmth of the first 2.5 months of autumn. We're like, what is happening? Is this real life? When's the other shoe gonna drop? Like, how long is this gonna go for? Yeah, so I went for 2.5 months. So we're halfway through May, and now it's feeling like autumn normally feels very crisp and cool, but with some sunshine. So we're getting the fogs rolling in the morning, which is lovely. But it is a reminder that winter is coming. Winter is coming. Normally Melbourne's winters are pretty mild compared to the rest of the world, but then now I'm like, oh, we're going to get a real cold one this year. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, enjoying the rays of sunshine while they're here, and I will enjoy my reading as well. This is a cheer me up. I have a feeling this is just the colors alone and the illustrations. This is something that I definitely want to have on me. And yeah, I've got the weirdness to back it up. Oh, and I think I do have an audiobook. Let me just double check for y'all. Doobie 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 doo. Is it Libby or is it Burrowbox? Oh, it's a nonfic. Okay, so this is called The Pivot Here by Brianna West. I've just heard a lot of people talking about it. Nonfic self-help is always hit or miss. Because also I've read so much self-help that sometimes they all just sound the same once you've read a certain amount. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I've got that as an audiobook as well. So I've got to remember, bring your earbuds, Chanel, in case you can't visually look at something because you're feeling nauseated or whatever. You can listen to something. But I will touch base with you guys once I have read another book. Okay, so they're running behind. They're running 20 minutes behind. I forgot my e-reader and I've already read the camp book. So I found a little bookstore that is 5 minutes walk. So I'm going to go there, see if there's anything. I think it's an art bookstore, but something's better than nothing, because an hour and a half with nothing to do. Oh no. Sometimes things work out. I never would have been to that bookstore ever. I got this, a manual for living, but that was the cutest little bookstore, and it's in this little courtyard of all these little quaint shops. So I think I definitely have to check that area. They even give me snacks. This is so fancy, guys. Very pretty.
Oh my god. No.
Okay guys, I thought I would film while I still can. So good news, didn't have an allergic reaction, which I have had before. I've still got my earrings in. I feel okay. I have pain at the site of the IV, because I always get that. If something's in my veins for over an hour, I end up getting sore. But the only thing at the moment is my mouth feels and tastes a bit funny, and my hands and feet are a little bit colder than usual. So that's all I'm having at the moment. Issues, like I said, I just have to keep an eye out. Nothing else is wrong. They do suspect that I will feel sick for a few days afterwards. So I'm getting everything done that I can today. My kids are coming back today. I've got like a whole bunch of crochet bags to mail out. So yeah, I'm just trying to hustle and also eat while I still have an appetite too. I went out with my mum for lunch. Oh, I went private this time. Blue belt. Yeah, I went private, which was more expensive, obviously. You don't get like, you know, the Medicare, but it was so fancy. Just like I had this leather recliner armchair and these pillows and throws, and then they gave me like bottled water and tea and vegan protein balls, and it's like, oh my goodness, it feels like I'm at a day spa. Like, just ignore the IV and the, you know, needles and shit, but like I felt, you know, there was like nice music playing, it was cozy, it was a much nicer experience. So I'm kind of glad I ended up going private. And it's only because I did get private health insurance this year, which came in handy with the tooth, and now this. I'm like, okay, it was worth it. But yeah, at the moment I feel good. So I don't know, I'm just still gonna hold on to the hope that I'm actually going to be fine. I'm not going to get any more negative side effects. I do have to go and eat something because my mouth tastes very unpleasant, but I have read. So, oh my God, after I finished reading the Camp magazine, which was, oh my God, did I even bring it? No, I can't be bothered getting it. It was, look, that was fine. You know, it feels like you're reading a queer Tumblr page, pretty much. So there's nothing in there that really stood out to me or that I wanted to share. So I'm probably just gonna cut and collage it. And then I went to get my e-reader out. It wasn't in there. I forgot to pack it because it was in my bed because I was reading last night. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do for an hour and a half? Because I don't want to go on my phone. I don't want to use my data. I don't have games or anything like that. And then they came out and they said, I'm sorry, we're running behind. And I was like, how long behind? How long behind? And they're like, 20 minutes. It ended up being. So I quickly Googled bookstore, and there was an art and design bookstore just around the corner, and I thought, that'll do. I'm sure there's something there. And the store was gorgeous. Hello, Sylvie. I only had, by the time I walked there, I only had 3 minutes to pick something, and then I had to walk back to get back in time. So 3 minutes, not much. I kind of regret now what I bought because there was some cool like Ursula Le Guin and Philip K. Dick stuff. There's just so much stuff, you know, but I ended up going with this one that was the Manual of Living because the cover got me and it was big, and I thought, okay, that'll probably take me an hour and a half at least, you know, whereas the other ones were very thin. I thought I'll read them quick. That was $55. What is that book? It is basically, it's pretty much a bite-sized TED Talk. It's like little crumbs of life advice. I wasn't impressed. I didn't care. The cats are just going nuts, scratching everything today. I just didn't care for it. And there wasn't much photography. It's like, oh, it's got photography and recipes and all this stuff. And I didn't think it was well formatted or particularly pretty or insightful. I think if you're an absolute noob to any sort of life advice stuff, then maybe you would enjoy it. But at the age of 40, I've amassed some knowledge and wisdom, and there was nothing new in there for me. So I don't have it. I've already given it to my mum. I read the whole thing during my session, and now she's got the book. Maybe she'll find something out of it, but that was a bit disappointing for me because it was so expensive. But I did need something, so you know, if I could go back, I'd get like 2 of the smaller books. But I would like to go back. It was a whole area. I'd like to go back to that store and actually look properly. There was a lot of books that caught my eye, and I'm like, tape it, look it up on Goodreads. But yeah, there was a little like enclave in there, like a little courtyard hidden with all these like very bougie, arty stores, and you wouldn't see it from the outside. You wouldn't suspect from the outside, which is very industrial, that inside is a courtyard full of gems. So I will have to go back there. It's actually around the corner from one of my favorite cafes in Collingwood. And Collingwood is a bit of a cool hipster indie alt sort of area, arty. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and explore. That's what I love about Melbourne. There's so many hidden gems, and sometimes you just have to come across them. They don't show up on Google Maps, or they, you know, don't show up on sites. I'm not on Instagram and things, so I don't see anything on there. But yeah, I'm always in a tourist mindset of my town. So I'm like, I've got to just pick a neighborhood and just do the whole neighborhood on foot. You know, just like walk every single street. I think that might be the plan. Once the weather's nicer again, it's cold. It's beautiful sun, but it was fucking cold. But yeah, I feel good. And like I said, I've got to quickly hustle. Kids are coming back in 40 minutes. I got to get this order done and eat because I'm already starting to feel queasiness, probably also from the sort of metallic taste in my mouth. But I've got limited time. I got to go. Hey, baby. All those cat beds. This is where you are. Hello, guys. So I've got some books to update you on. I was listening to Pivot Here by Brianna Wiest. So the way that this is structured is that you're meant to be reading it 1 page a day. It's 365 pages of like daily bursts of inspiration and motivation and self-help kind of wisdom. I don't know how to rate this. Like, it's not for me, that kind of thing. So my legs are dying. I'll come closer. It's not really my jam. So I listened to, you know, I don't know, 50 days worth. And I'm like, yeah, they're fine. But I don't really get much from that. If I want some like advice, I'll pull a tarot card and read a tarot card entry or an oracle card entry. So this wasn't my thing, but I can see how it could appeal to a lot of the general population. And then I was reading Magic Kingdom for Sale Sold. So this is by Terry Brooks, and it has a character named Ben. Ben is going through it. He's a lawyer, but he's lost his wife, or was it fiance. He's really depressed. He's not doing well. He's very successful financially and career-wise, but he's feeling like his life is empty and sad. And then one day he sees this catalog, which has things for sale in it, and it's listing a magical kingdom for sale that has dragons and princesses and wizards and fairies for $1 million. And he thinks, oh, that can't be right. What the does that mean? Is this real? Is this a hoax? Is this for a laugh? But it piques his curiosity. So he investigates and turns out, oh no, it's a real deal. And if he purchases it, he will become the king of this magical kingdom. But he must stay there for 1 year. He cannot leave, cannot have contact with the outside world. He decides, you know what, I've got nothing left to lose. Life is feeling rather meaningless and pointless. So he decides to take a year off work. He's like a partner of a law firm in Chicago. And off he goes. Turns out it's very much real. Magic very much exists. And he's now the king of this magical land that exists in a different dimension. Linked to Earth, but not on Earth. I thought it was fine. It was absolutely fine. But look, it's giving 3s. For me, 3-star energy. And no, not for this vlog, you know? So I think if you're looking for a gentle quest rather than an epic fantasy war, this could be the book for you. I think it would appeal to a lot of people. I think it might appeal to men more because like the main character is, you know, an older lawyer man from Chicago. So that was that book. I did DNF it. And then I was reading The Weirdness by Jeremy P. Bushnell. Selling your soul for better coffee and literary success. Sounds like Brooklyn. So the main character in this is a disillusioned hipster writer in Brooklyn, and he's kind of bitter about the success of his peers. He wants that for himself. And then one day, while he's moping about his apartment, fresh out of coffee, in steps Lucifer, who's dressed like he owns a high-end cocktail bar, and he's got a deal for our protagonist. He wants Billy to steal a magical artifact, the Maneki Neko magic cat. And in exchange, he will give Billy literary fame, fortune, and a better life, not to mention top-notch coffee. Billy agrees because of course he does. And because he's a man who can barely write a novel, let alone resist a Faustian deal that includes high-quality espresso and literary validation. The premise sounded fantastic. There were some bits of humor interspersed in there. However, it was just too much going on. I felt like it wasn't cohesive. The execution of the ideas wasn't hitting for me. I did not like the protagonist. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was not really rooting for him. I was kind of like hoping Lucifer would actually win and take his mediocre soul. It felt very, I don't know, dude bro. So I could tell I'm not the right reader for this, and it would all hitch upon how well he could pull it together at the end. And I was not getting optimistic vibes for that. So I did decide after, I think it was 100 pages, I just skipped to the end, read the ending and was like, oh, I am glad I didn't invest any more time in it. It wasn't my kind of book, but yeah, read it if you like average kind of pathetic men and good coffee. In regards to what I'm picking up next, I'm not sure. I just did a huge library haul, which I'm showing on my Patreon vlog for today because I'm doing a dating diaries segment because your bitch is going on a date. I know, crazy. I think the last date I went on was around 8 months ago, and then I took the 5-month complete online dating break where I deleted the app and tried my luck in the real world. Wasn't so lucky. And yeah, I just in a moment of ovulation, because if you know what that hormone, what that part of your hormonal cycle does to you. Yeah, I went back on and saw what was out there, and I found someone who is fantastic at conversation, which is a rarity these days. It seems like the majority of human beings don't know how to carry on a conversation. They don't know how to lift their own weight, how to ask you a question back. But this dude did, so it is a dude. But I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing because his life circumstances are not ideal for a long-term relationship. Anyway, I'm talking about it in my other vlog, but I am going on that date tonight. So yes, I've just been too busy. Haven't picked another book to read, but I've got library books, and I might even just do a tarot card pull tomorrow because I actually don't know what I want to read, which is weird. It's very weird. I actually don't know what I'm in the mood for, and I've got so many options and I'm feeling overwhelmed. So I might pull a card tomorrow and we can pick something together. But yeah, the date's very casual. We're just going to an ice cream shop, even though it's fucking cold outside. And yes, I should have just said, actually, I'd rather not, but I'm too tired. I don't have a lot of energy. So I was like, sure, let's go to an ice cream shop halfway between us for an hour and just see, does the online chemistry translate to real life chemistry? And then I got to go home and get into bed. So I will see you guys when I have read something. Hello, my darlings. I haven't read anything yet, but I have decided what I'm going to be picking up next. So I did just get an email from NetGalley, and they're like, Chanel, hey babes, we now support Kobo again. So I was like, sweet, let me see what's available. And I went on and I've gotten a book and I clicked send to Kobo. Did not send to my Kobo. So I've written them an email, but I can read it on my phone. So that is what I'm going to do. And so the book that I requested and got was My Name Isn't Paul by Drew Huff. He's not Paul. He's not human, but he's trying really, really hard. So supposedly this is about an alien creature and they're called mirror people. And they are hyper empathetic eldritch abominations whose only job is to find a corpse to mimic and become. And that's what he does. He poses as Paul Cataneo, who was a traveling salesman. And he does so for 7 years until breeding season starts. And supposedly, during breeding season, his species charm filter drops. His empathy tank runs on fumes. And suddenly, he's a sociopath. So Paul can't maintain the facade any longer, and he does what he can, and that is going on a cross-country breakdown and spiral until he ends up crossing paths with something that is more dangerous and more inhuman than he is. So I'm expecting cosmic horror Lovecraftian in this novella. So I will be reading that next. I had my date yesterday. Probably one of the most loveliest human beings I have ever met. We had a very sort of kinship, kindred spirit thing going on, like emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, completely compatible. I didn't feel a romantic spark. And also he's not available for a relationship. He's traveling around Australia for a year and then he's heading back to Canada to join the Coast Guard. So we're not a romantic match. I'd like to stay friends, because he's just someone that I really enjoyed being in the company of. Like I said, just a really beautiful soul. So it was a nice dip back into the dating game. I think the last date I went on was, I want to say 7-8 months ago. Obviously I had my little 6-month online dating hiatus, but I thought I'd test it out again. I will say it was a lot more draining than the last time I was dating, because obviously now I'm sicker than last time. So I will have to keep that in mind. I just have a lot less gas in the tank for conversations and dates. I am heading to the big design market today, but you'll see that in my short books reading vlog, so I'll see you once I have finished reading a book. Oh, I'm also picking up Ghostwall again by Sarah Moss. So remember I DNF'd it because the way it was formatted, the dialogue was just hidden in blocks of text and I wasn't in the mind frame to be able to decipher that. And then Zach, one of my viewers and Patreon members, said, hey babes, it's actually an audiobook too, and that might be a better format for you to consume it because the story is pretty good. So I'm giving it a go. My library did have it on audiobook, and yeah, I'll be listening to that as well.
Having fun, girls. Fresh laundry to lie on. And then we've got this cat over here. They snuggle. I love the fresh laundry.
Okay guys, so I did finish listening to Ghostwall by Sarah Moss yesterday. History doesn't just repeat. It ties you up and makes you watch. So in this story, we're following 17-year-old Sylvie, and she is spending a week in the woods with her emotionally stunted family and a group of smug academics, and what they're doing is they're attempting to live like Iron Age Britons for the fun and the research, I guess. Now, Sylvie's dad is the kind of guy who thinks vacation means subsistence farming and regular beatings. He is a bus driver by day, but he is also absolutely obsessed with ancient Britain and the good old days when life was simple. Men were men and women were completely silent and managed their periods without the need for sanitary products. If you haven't guessed by now, he's a real charmer, and I very much wanted to push him into the bog. As the group dives deeper into their historical LARPing, things get increasingly weird. Like, human sacrifice is now on the menu. Weird, because that's what they did in the old days. This, I don't even know how. I thought it was good, but it's just an incredibly depressing book. There's this constant tense atmosphere because you're just waiting for the father to be set off and to exact his violence upon his wife and child. So the daughter lives in both fear of her father and wanting to rebel her father. She doesn't want to be a part of this LARPing experience, but she had no choice. And if the other historical students, especially the women, piss the dad off, she pays the price for that. So it was just every day they would go out foraging and weaving baskets and killing and skinning rabbits, that kind of thing. And she'd get beatings from her dad with his belt. And I was expecting it to get really dark. I thought it would go the horror route. And I was like, oh my God, they're definitely going to kill her. They're going to torture her, throw her in the bog, yada, yada. I was quite surprised the ending was mild and contemporary. I'll leave it at that. But it was, I don't know, I was kind of let down after all of this ominous dread building up with her dad just getting more irate and the pressure building. I was like, is that it? That's it. So yeah, I thought it was okay. It was just a bit mild and mid for me. I felt like there could have also been a sapphic element with Sylvie and one of the other girls in the group. That could have been something, but it wasn't anything. And yeah, I don't know, it just kind of never went anywhere full on, you know. I do definitely think that the audiobook is the easier way to consume the story. I am now going on to My Name Isn't Paul. NetGalley have not emailed me regarding my help, it's not sending to my Kobo request. So I am just going to read it on my phone. Luckily it's a novella, thank God. So that's fine. And I will get started on that today. Hello guys, I have had a morning thanks to this kitty cat up in the corner there. She decided to jump up onto my keyboard while I was trading, and she executed trades, and then she blew up my screen magnification by over 1,000%. All I could see were little pixels of color. And so I got out my phone immediately and I'm like troubleshooting. I'm trying every command and keyboard shortcut I can to zoom back out. Nothing worked. I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, please help. And so he's like, try this, try this, try this, try this. 25 minutes, nothing. I'm beside myself. I don't know what she's done on my platform and I need to have access to my trades. And then my brother said, hey, since Blue messed up your computer by mashing the buttons, just mash it. So I started mashing it and it worked. I still don't know what combination of keys. I tried every function. I tried everything that I could find on the internet, including rebooting. and yet somehow mashing it worked. And then I quickly reopened my trading platform, and this sweet little bundle of fur cost me $2,000 today. She couldn't have made me $2,000. It couldn't have gone the other way. Nope. So I'm starting off the week at a $2,000 loss. And this is after Trump has just buggered the market again with his random weekend tweets where he'll tweet one thing, crash it, and then backtrack on that tweet the next day and rally it. Like, it's just not even, you can't even call it inside trading anymore. It's like right out in the open. And I'm like, no one's going to do anything. No one's going to say nothing about the clear manipulation of the markets that is going on right now. But no, it seems everyone's just like allowing it. So yeah, I've had not a great start today. I'm going to be honest. I just had to laugh. I got very upset a bit, and but then I'm just like, whatever. At this point, I've lost so much money over like the last 6 weeks that it's just, I've become numb to it now. But I'm like, universe, why why did you have my cat jump up and hit all these keys and have this happen? I don't know the meaning of things, guys. I guess it could all be meaningless, or it's just chaos. She's a chaos cat, so I just got to cop it on the chin. But yeah, I'm not trading today. I'm not in the right headspace. It's hard. You can't just cop a $2,000 loss and then just get back into it. So yeah, that was my morning. I had a shower, tried to wash all the sadness and negative energy away, and now I'm just spring cleaning, because that always makes me feel better once it's done, having a really clean house, because the kids have gone to their dad's for one night. So I thought, just clean everything, spick and span, and read. And that's going to be your day today. Speaking of reading, I did finish reading My Name Isn't Paul by Drew Huff. Did I also accidentally throw out all the notes that I kept while I was reading it? Yes, I did. So this was the arc from NetGalley, which did end up appearing on my Kobo 3 days later after saying send to Kobo, so maybe there's just a delay with that, but I'd already read it on my phone. So yeah, this was about the alien mirror person. Turns out that they are insectoid-like creatures, like they're wasps, is what you would call them. There's a lot of like silvery filaments going on, and he has been successfully imitating a human named Paul for the last 7 years, but it's breeding season. And they go into heat. And when they go into heat, they become murderous. And Paul thinks that it won't happen to him. There's a lot of self-loathing in this. So Paul hates himself. He wants to be a human. He does not want to be an insectoid-like creature. So there's a lot about identity and imposter syndrome and alienation and loneliness. Like he goes to a reunion with his family. The way that these insectoid creatures are birthed on this planet is the eggs are laid in a human body, and then when they hatch, they devour the human body from the inside out. So it's very much giving someone to build a nest in. It's also reminded me a lot of the other book, Walking Practice. It's very similar to those. But yeah, Paul doesn't want to acknowledge that he is actually not human, and so he's in denial about his breeding season, and it happens. And Paul snaps. Paul goes on a rampage. He's beheading bitches left and right. He is banging every other mirror person within the radius. He's like triggering heat in others. It goes balls to the wall. And then he has to also come to grips with fatherhood and what that means for him. So I guess it's a lot too about nature versus nurture, and choice versus sort of instinct. You know, how much control do you have over your actions and behavior? I didn't like it, unfortunately. It was not for me. The writing style did remind me a bit of Walking Practice the most. There was a lot of, I don't know, it just felt very broy, very male-centered, and Paul became very unlikable, obviously. When he's back in his animalistic state or alienistic state, whatever you want to call it, there is no all that empathy that they feel as mirror people. So they, feed off people's empathy, and it sort of allows them to mind read and mirror. When that goes out the window, I struggle with books like that, where there's like no humanity left, and it's just full body horror, gore, violence, kill, bang, 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 sort of stuff. And it just felt like it completely devolved into the madness element. Like there was no real plot. It sort of touched on, like I said, these other topics of, you know, grief and predation and transformation and whatever, depression as well, but it didn't really delve into them at all, and I just didn't feel attached to any of the beings, humans or other, in this book. So it wasn't my style. I'll still give this author another go because I'm not sure if it was just because we're in an alien's perspective and it just didn't work for me, or if this is the way the author like writes and the plot just goes out the window at one point just for like action scenes and shock value. But yeah, it just didn't have any substance for me, which is a shame. I haven't read many. Oh my God, have I even read anything that's like over a 3 so far? Because I didn't like, because Do was mid, Ghostwall was mid, and My Name Isn't Paul was less than mid. Okay, this is not, yeah, this mood reading vlog is, has not been up my alley. I'm going on to this We Speak of Flowers by Eileen Chong. When I'm feeling a bit blah about all the books I've read, I go to poetry. It's a palette cleanser. Poetry and graphic novels tend to sort of reset the slate for me, wipe it clean. I've normally never hate a poetry book, for instance. It'll just be like, oh, I don't get it. You know, it's like, didn't get that. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm sure there are poetry books I do hate out there, but haven't read those. So yes, this one was about, I think, ancestry and flora and connections and searching for meaning in a broken world. So this will be an easy read as well, because, you know, some of the pages are just very little on them, and that's what I need. I don't have a lot of brain power today, thanks to my stressful start to the morning. Besides that, I've got The Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young that came into the library. So that's a sequel to Out on a Limb, which was a 5-star romance for me. So I probably will read that as well. And I've got a book called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which contains words that encapsulate meanings or things in the human experience. And that's something I'm absolutely fascinated with. I love interesting words that encapsulate something specific. I don't think that's let me go grab it actually. Let's read one already. So here we go. I do like the cover as well. So let's read the first word. Okay, we've got chrysalism. The amniotic tranquility of being indoors during a thunderstorm. From the Latin word chrysalis, meaning the pupa of a butterfly. I love that. So there's a word for that. That wonderful, cozy, exciting, soothing feeling of being inside somewhere safe and warm and dry while there's a thunderstorm raging outside. It's chrysalism. So feeling nice and cocooned and safe while danger lurks outside. So, oh, guys, there's also photos. This could totally be a kind of book that I end up buying for myself. I can see that happening. So there's like photography. There's actually quite a few photos in here. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I love that. So yeah, I don't think this is the kind of book though that you can read all in one go. It's sort of like a piecemeal thing, and it is a library book, so I'll try and get it done within the 3 weeks, but I might end up buying this. Depends how much I'm loving the way it's written. Let's do another one. Okay, we've got Plata Rasa. The lulling sound of running a dishwasher, whose steady maternal shushing somehow puts you completely at peace, with not having circumnavigated anything solo. From the Latin plata, meaning plate, and rasa, blank or scraped clean. I also like the way that they are, what's the word? Describing the words. It's actually written quite beautifully. Oh my God, we have to try this one. Okay, one more. Okay, wait, it's German. Funkenzwangsvorstellung. The primal trance of watching a campfire in the dark. From the German Funken, spark, and Zwangsvorstellung, obsession. Yeah, that's just, someone needs to read the diary. As a kid, this is up my alley, and I always save on Pinterest anytime I find those words like sodad or meliorism or petrichor, you know. I'm like, pin. So a whole book of it, yum, yum. So that's what'll be coming up in this reading vlog. And hopefully, yeah, those will be the last 3 I read for this one. And hopefully they're all good. Hello, did I just hit something? I did. I hit my little heart. Hello, my darling. Hello, my darlings. I've got an update. I've got so many updates for you. So I totally dropped everything, and I picked up frieren 12. because it came in on Libby, and I was like, drop everything, read it immediately. And I cannot tell you anything that goes on in the book because it's all spoilers. Just say, oh, what can I say about it? I will say that I enjoyed it, obviously, but I was kind of disappointed that frieren, given this opportunity, hasn't said things. It's kind of like, still keeping everything close to her chest. And I don't know, I was hoping like, this is your chance, frieren, and nothing. Girl kept her mouth zipped. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next one, because the way it ended, yes, has me intrigued about the next one. So that was fantastic. I loved it. Frieren, hello, beautiful Sylvie. Oh my god. What? You're welcome. What was I going to say? So that was fantastic. Yeah, they can do no wrong. I love that whole manga series. I then picked up Out of the Woods by Helen Bonham Young. So you'll remember that I gave Out on a Limb 5 stars. I'll start by a line from the book that I thought was funny. My mother was religious in the same way that leggings are pants. And by that, I mean whenever times were desperate or for comfort. Now, I'm going to be going on a rant here. If you don't want me to go on a rant, don't listen. I'll tell you what it's about first. So you've got Sarah and Caleb, who have been together since she was 14 years old. Sarah seems to be having some kind of in her 30s life crisis, and she feels that Caleb, who is wealthy and very successful, supportive and kind, has been the one supporting her, and that she hasn't actually accomplished anything by herself since they've been together. She ends up pitching a fit at a gala that she hosted. She put how do I say this? An unreasonably high goal for fundraising, and when it looks like they were definitely not going to reach it by quite a long while, she went and had a little fit about it, like just walked off by herself, left her husband to keep the gala and function going. He sent her friends to check on her, and she goes nuts at him when she finds out. She returns, and to help her save face, so that they didn't, so the gala is a success, and she can give her speech and she can give the check, because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to do that. To help her save face, he's donated the rest of the money to hit the goal. So when she comes back, they're all clapping and cheering, and she can give the donation check to the ALS Foundation. But she's angry about it. She's like, how dare you? And he's like, for what? Like, you weren't here. You walked off. You weren't picking up. I sent the friends. You didn't come back. What else was I meant to do? I know it's important to you to give them the check at the end of the night. It's fine. And she's like, no, it's not fine. And she's just like, I don't know who I am, separate from you, blah, 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 blah. She just blames all of her shit on Caleb. Bro, I could not like someone less. I was she just rubbed me the wrong way so bad. Like, where I'm rich and wealthy, and like my husband allows me just to do whatever I want, but I still, fuck it up and need him to come in and save the day. Damn him for being a knight on a horse, ready to lend me assistance when I need it. Oh, what a dick. I was just like, bitch, you for real right now? You for real right now? And then what she decides is she's like, I'm not happy in this marriage. Just fucking drops bombs on him. And says, we need to go to this therapy thing, we're in you camp in the woods for a week. And he's just like, I understand that, you're not happy. I will, can we start maybe like with therapy? He doesn't want to go camping. He hates camping. Fair enough. So do I. And she's like, no, this is the only option. What? Are you kidding me? And he just does it. He takes a week off work, which he can't afford to do. And then she complains because to take the week off work, he has to work like a maniac for like the 5 days leading up. She's like, he's just working all the time. And I'm like, yeah, so he can spend a week off fucking shitting in the woods, which he doesn't want to do, with therapying him because she tells him, you've got issues and you need to work on them. Like, this man is a goddamn saint. And this woman, with her fucking privilege and her pettiness and her just like, I hated her. I was like, I can't read this because I don't want Caleb to stay with her. I want Caleb to get divorced and find someone who's worthy of him. Thank you very much. And who appreciates him and the effort that he goes to support his partner. Yeah, I hated it. I hate it. Like I still love her writing, but this character, Sarah, hated her with a fiery passion of Mordor. Could not listen to any more of her and whining and bitching and moaning and victim blaming. And then I picked up Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams. And this is about a woman who used to work at Facebook, and she's just spilling the tea. Now, at first I thought, okay, this could be interesting. It's doing the rounds because Meta tried to suppress it. And I love the bits about her life. Turns out she's a shark attack survivor. It's freaking gnarly. Reading that and listening to that, my God, I was like, oh my God. It's because, you know, it is a fear for Australians, us Aussies, when we go in the water. It doesn't happen frequently, but it does happen. Sharks do attack and bite people and kill people. And it happened to her as a child. So that was fucking terrifying. But then everything about her time at Facebook/Meta, it just felt like workplace gossip and drama, and I couldn't give two shits. I don't like that. I'm not a around the water cooler person. I don't like gossip. I don't like drama. And yeah, I was like, I'm sure it'll get interesting later, but I just don't really care what these rich people are up to and what they're doing and the privilege and like the how far removed they are from the common man. Like, I get it, but I just don't want to read about, you know, and then Robert at work said this and did that. And I'm like, no. I'm still reading the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. I will go and grab it and read aloud a word of the day because I'm loving this book. I'm loving it. I think I've got to check. I think John, the author, actually coined these terms himself. So some of these terms I've already seen on Pinterest, like over the years, but I think he's actually the one that smushed the words together to create the new word. Whereas obviously there's also other words that are just foreign words that encapsulate this thing that no single word in the English language can. Whereas the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, I think John made his own words, I believe. I'm pretty sure. But I'll go and read you one to add on to today. So I'm going to finish that. I am also going to, what else was I meant to be reading? Oh, We Speak of Flowers by Eileen Cho. So I will finish that too and talk about them in the vlog. I've had a lot of drama today. I've talked about it on my Patreon. I'm not going to talk about it here because we're still in the midst of it. I got to wait until it's over and see what I can and cannot say legally. But yeah, I got my hair done. I was meant to be going to Law Perfumery tonight for their perfume event. Unfortunately, they have cancelled because the person running the event is sick. So I got this done for nothing, which sucks. I'm going nowhere, doing no things. But I am going out tomorrow with my bestie to the Museum of Desires because I'm filming a themed vlog about desires. So I thought, let's go, let's do this. This is like a match made in heaven in terms of book themed vlog and the activity I stick on the end of it. So hopefully this will still look cute tomorrow when I go out tomorrow. But that's everything. I need to eat lunch. It's like 3 o'clock. Oh my God, and Trump. And yeah, besides that, I had another fun-filled day thanks to the tariff thing. So the thing that's happened today is the American government's like, hey, yeah, Trump doesn't actually have the power to impose these tariffs. What do you mean? What do you mean? Two months later, after he's just played with all the markets and made his money and everything else, 2 months later, you come out and say, actually, he can't enforce this. Correct me if I'm wrong too. I believe that the American public has been paying tariffs on items that they've had sent from overseas. Has that happened? Because if so, if they've paid for those tariffs and then the court says, actually, he can't impose those tariffs, does that mean that the government now has to refund those people for the tariffs that they paid, which shouldn't have ever existed? I don't know, but did it affect the market and cost me more money? Yes, it did. Every time I think it's safe to go back to trading, I was wrong. Yeah, I really should have taken 2 months of work free time and done nothing. So this is, thank God I have savings. That's all. I'm very fortunate, counting my blessings and my privilege that I managed to save money over the years, and I can fall onto them in hard times, because it's hard times because yeah, I got destroyed because of a foreign president's BS. I still can't get over it. It's like, what has it got to do with us, Australia? Maybe it's time to change jobs, but what can you do when you're chronically ill, guys? Give me some ideas. Tell me what else I can do down below. What other jobs I can do from home, hopefully. But yes, maybe, like I said, it's time to consider other career paths, because this is crazy that any tweet from anybody at any time, like they don't even do this shit in scheduled public announcements. It's like middle of the night, tweets and just landmines in the markets and boom, 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 hemorrhaging money. But now that I've got that, now that I've word vomited that, because I'm just having a day, I will see you guys once I have read the last books for this vlog.
Loose left. Feeling a sense of loss upon finishing a good book. Sensing the weight of the back cover locking away the lives of characters you've gotten to know so well. From loose leaf. A removable sheet of paper, and left. Departed.
Okay, plot twist. I am going out this evening. So Kate said that her and her hubby are actually going to a burlesque event tonight in the city, and did I want to join them? Since my hair was already done, I thought, you know what? Let's go do burlesque. I don't think I'll stay the whole night. It does end late, but I think I can do about an hour of naked women at the least. I don't know how much footage I'll be able to show you, probably almost nothing, or probably just when they're fully clothed and then quickly cut away. But yes, I'm going to go and see some burlesque dancing this evening.
Sneaky. Oh, that's really smelling delicious.
Yeah, all of us.
Now listen, there is a beautiful red-headed woman in a glittering green gown and the most fabulous feather boa you've ever seen standing atop
Hello guys! So last night, unplanned, I don't normally do well with spontaneous things, but because I already had my hair done and I'd had my mother make herself free to watch the kids because I thought I was going to the perfume event, I thought, you know what, I am just going to go to this burlesque show, and best decision ever. I had the best time. The venue is gorgeous. It's very David Lynch. The food was so good. I had this flame grilled salmon that I was this close to buying to ordering a second of. And then I had an avocado chocolate mousse, which was fine. But then I had the best mocktail of my life. They called it Pink Pony Club. It had cherries and watermelon, and I'll put a thing up of what was in it, but it was so good. I licked that glass clean, son. The women were amazing, beautiful. There was this one, and I couldn't show you her full set or anything past her walking out in her robe, because she did go full frontal. I mean, fullest frontal, completely naked, spread eagled. It was I can't even describe this set. It blew my mind. It is not what you think of when you think of burlesque. It was primordial and terrifying, yet tantalizing. It was powerful. I was riveted. I sat there trying to make sense of what I just watched and what it meant. It was insane. It was art. It was art. It was performance. It was everything. I will put the name of the performer down below too. I've forgotten what her name is, but me, son, seriously, obsessed. I would love to see what else this artist does, because I was just like, not expecting that in the slightest. Oh my God, like I said, all the women are fabulous, but this was just out of this world. Like, quite literally, it felt very other, very alien, but also very primal, tribal goddess, whatever the religion, I'm a worshipper. I have finished a book. So the book that I have finished is the We Speak of Flowers by Eileen Chong. So the author is of the Hakka, Hokkien and Peranakan cultures, and it is poetry that blooms. It's offering up ancestral whispers and cultural echoes. Within her poems, she weaves in heritage, migration, memory, and identity. I will just read one of the poems for you so you get an idea. Some are long, some are short. They're just numbered, so there's no title. So we've got number 58. I was just 12. I stood in a crowd with a crucifix tied around my neck. I looked up and saw him, blue-eyed, impossibly blonde. The mirrors stared back. Between the covers of the books I read, only white girls. What language had I inherited? What languages have I lost? In the museums, long dead animals are stuffed and posed, forever hunted and dying. I thought it was nice. It's not something that particularly struck me to my core, but I think it's well done. And I have got this one. This is the last book, the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. I have already purchased my own copy, so you can guess like how I'm feeling about it. So if I haven't already said it, this is a collection of terms that John has coined himself. So he's combined words and created his own meaning for them. Some of them you will already be aware of. If you're on Pinterest, you've no doubt seen one of his words pop up on your feed. So just thought at first I wasn't aware of that. I thought this was a collection of already known and established words in the human lexicon, but no, John created these. So let's read one for today. All right, we've got Galagog, the state of being simultaneously entranced and unsettled by the vastness of the cosmos, which makes your deepest concerns feel laughably quaint, yet vanishingly rare. It's from Galaxy, a gravitationally bound system of millions of stars, and Agog, or struct, pronounced Galagog. So that will be the final book for this reading blog. I'm off to the Museum of Desires today, as you all have seen in my Strange Desires vlog. And yeah, I will see you the next time I have finished the last book for this reading blog.
nice sunset too, Bluebell.
Hello, my darlings. Let's finish this vlog off. So the last book I read was The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. Let me read one final bit to you. I'll read you one of the more substantial entries. So every now and again, Robert does a full page sort of spread. Maru Mori, the heartbreaking simplicity of ordinary things. Most living things don't need to remind themselves that life is precious. They simply pass the time. An old cat can sit in the window of a bookstore, whiling away the hours as people wander through, blinking calmly, breathing in and out, idly watching a van being unloaded across the street without thinking too much about anything. And that's all right. It's not such a bad way to live. So much of life is spent this way, in ordinary time. There's no grand struggle, no sacraments, no epiphanies, just simple domesticity captured in little images here and there. All the cheap little objects, the jittering rattle of an oscillating fan, a pair of toothbrushes waiting in a cup by the sink. There's the ragged squeal of an old screen door, the dry electronic screech of a receipt being printed, the ambient roar of someone showering upstairs, and the feeling of pulling on a pair of wool socks on a winter morning and peeling them off at the end of the day. These are sensations that pass without a second thought. So much of it is barely worth noting. But in a couple hundred years, this world will turn over to a completely different cast of characters. They won't look back and wonder who won the battles or when. Instead, they'll try to imagine how we lived day to day, gathering precious artifacts of the world as it once was, in all its heartbreaking little details. They'll look for the doodles left behind in the margins of our textbooks and the dandelions pressed in the pages. They'll try to imagine how our clothes felt on our bodies, and what we ate for lunch on a typical day, and what it might have cost. They'll wonder about our superstitions, the weird little memes and phrases and jokes we like to tell, the pop songs we hummed mindlessly to ourselves. They'll try to imagine how it must have felt to stand on a street corner, looking around at the architecture, hearing old cars rumbling by, the smell in the air. What ketchup must have tasted like. We rarely think to hold on to that part of life. We don't build statues of ordinary people. We don't leave behind little plaques to commemorate the milestones of ordinary time. Here, on the 25th of March, 1994, some neighbours went out walking their dogs. The children took turns holding the leash. It was a fun afternoon for everyone involved. But it all still happened. All those cheap and disposable experiences are no less real than anything in our history books, no less sacred than anything in our hymnals. Perhaps we should try keeping our eyes open while we pray and look for the meaning hidden in the things right in front of us, in the sound of tic-tacs rattling in a box, the throbbing ache of hiccups, and the punky smell that lingers on your hands after doing the dishes. Each is itself a kind of meditation, a reminder of what is real. We need these silly little things to fill out our lives, even if they don't mean all that much, if only to remind us that the stakes were never all that high in the first place. It's not always life and death. Sometimes it's just life, and that's all right. This is a tribute to Mari Mori, a friend of Pablo Neruda, whose gift of wool socks inspired his poem, Ode to My Socks. Compare Memento Mori, a poignant reminder of your own mortality. This was almost 5 stars for me. Not quite, because they are made up words. I don't know how many of these words would end up in my lexicon, let alone the entire population's lexicon. So it's sort of, I guess, a bit frivolous to commit them to memory. I still loved it. I have bought myself a copy, ordered it in from an independent bookstore, because I have a creative art project in mind that I want to do with it. Yes, darling. Yes, you can. As I was saying, almost 5 stars. Okay, but one I've now bought to keep on my bookshelf and would love to I'm a logophile. I am a lover of words, and these are just so poetically put together, and I derived much pleasure from it. So freaking loved it. That was the last book for this reading vlog. So let me sum up the books I read. I read My Name Isn't Paul by Drew Huff. Mirror People. Terrifying when they're you, especially when they're not. And good luck using a Brillo pad after reading this. Do, A Manual for Better Living by Bobette Buster. Can a book inspire action? Yes. Will this one? Ghostwall by Sarah Moss. Come for the Iron Age cosplay. Stay because your dad says you have to. We Speak of Flowers by Eileen Chong. I Am Alone in Every Country. Frieren 12. To change nothing, she must face everything again. The final book was The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows by John Koenig, for when the word sad isn't specific enough. So those were all the books I read for this reading vlog. Until next time, stay well, Star Child.